The Bihar cabinet has given nod to increase the reservation in the state to 75%. This is a breach of the threshold that was set by the apex court in the Indra Sawhney case. We are going to talk about both these cases. From the perspective of GS Mains Paper Second, it is important that you understand this class till the very end. Do not worry about notes. It is provided through my Telegram channel, Pooja Dwivedi UPSC. If you have any queries, you can talk to me on my Instagram, follow me on my threads. So the Bihar cabinet has given a nod, but reservation bill has to be passed. It will likely be introduced in the current assembly session only. Let's talk about certain details. The cabinet has said that it has increased the quota to 75%. Earlier it was 60%, including the EWS. And rupees 2 lakh will be given to each of the 94 lakh poor families. These are the families that are actually earning 6,000 and less per month. Rupees 1 lakh one time will be given to 67 lakh landless families so that they can build homes. And of course, this is going to cost a lot to the state exchequer. It will have a burden, put a burden of rupees 50,000 crore per year. That means taxations might increase. Now let's compare the reservations. Earlier it was 50% in the state, of course, and here 14% was given to SC. Now it is for SCs 20%. There has been an increase. Then 10% were earlier given to ST. Now it is just 2%. Looking at the survey, the recent survey that was conducted, 25% will be given to EBCs, extremely backward classes, 18% to OBCs. Earlier it was 8% to OBCs and 12% to EBCs. So that means jitni abadi utna hak. The larger the population, the larger will be the share in employment and all these sorts of opportunities that the government gives. So this is kind of, you can say, in contravention to the population control measures, because communities now might be encouraged to reproduce more. Why? Because jitni abadi utna hak. This is the aim. Now, the Bihar government said that because we have conducted a survey and we have found out that EBCs and OBCs are actually a lot and they are poor in nature, socially and educationally backward, so we have to provide them reservation. Now earlier it was 60% including this plus the EWS quota. P2I batches are being launched from 17th November for English, 15th for English and Hindi for it is 10th. Make sure you take admission as quick as possible because we are providing a high discount for the Diwali sale. It is just 22,999 and this is available till 16th of November. If you use the code PDLive, not only your GS will be completed, but CSAT, ethics, essay, everything will be completed. Do not worry about anything else. Just make sure you attend these classes. These will be evening classes at 6 p.m. Attend these classes regularly. These will be live interactive classes, very interesting classes. Teachers will be able to interact with the students. And if you have any queries, you can talk to me on my Instagram about it. Now, what is the basis of all this? Providing welfare measures in terms of monetary measures, then providing reservation, the survey that was conducted. So a third of the families in Bihar are poor. They are on less than 6,000 per month. So the Bihar government has said that we are going to provide for 5 years 2 lakh to each of the family. And this is for 34% of the families. And 42% of the scheduled castes and scheduled tribes are living below poverty. 5.76% of the scheduled castes had finished class 11th and class 12th. So these are the many reasons why the government is providing such measures. The other thing is the caste survey that was conducted. Extremely backward classes have been 36%, backward 27%, scheduled caste 19%, scheduled tribes are just 1.68%. That is why the lesser the reservation. General category is 15%. Let's talk about literacy. The second set of data has suggested that the overall literacy in the state is 79.7% and it is higher than in women as we compare it to the males. 22.67% of the respondents had studied in class till class 5th. 24.31% for people from scheduled caste literacy rate, 24.65%, and among the general category this is just 17.45%. Now let's talk about the background. Background goes back to Mandal Commission. When this commission was formulated by the Prime Minister Morarji Desai in 1979. And this was done in order to ensure that we know about the criteria who are socially and educationally backward classes. This commission was headed by BP Mandal, that is why the Mandal Commission. And BP Mandal was the former CM of Bihar. So, determining criteria. Second, what can be done in order to give them advancement. Then, what is the need and desirability of making provisions for reserving appointment or post in favor of such classes. So the Mandal Commission, by studying the 1931 caste census as well as the 1971 population census, said that there are 3,743 socially and economically backward class, and OBCs constituted 52% of the population of India. That means the share could have been higher. For reservation, we have to provide them higher reservation, but the problem was 22.5% was already being given to SCs and STs. So now, in proportion of that, if we are going to give the reservation, the threshold of 50% would be breached. You must be thinking this was in 1979, how can I talk about this right now? Because in 1963 as well, the apex court in the M.R. Balaji versus Mysore said that please do not breach the 50% limit on reservation. There is a limit, but it was later on implemented by the Prime Minister VP Singh. Memorandums were circulated, and one memorandum got in the hands of Indra Sawhney, a journalist. She said that 27% of the civil posts under the government of India would be reserved for OBCs. Okay, that's fine. And among the backward class, preference would be given to the poorer section. Now this is the government share, 27 will be for OBCs, and here poorer section of the students will be given reservation. Preference will be given to them. Now, if after giving first preference to the poorer section, there were still vacancies, now this could be easily filled with those who are from backward class. This is what the rationale was. But it wasn't so. It said, the memorandum said that if any backward caste student has achieved the threshold of general category student or unreserved category student, then a larger chunk will be available for those other backward class. So those who have achieved the general category or unreserved category mark, they will not be included here. Now, OBCs recruited on the basis of merit would not be adjusted. This is what the memorandum said. And then, other than that, 10% of the vacancies would be reserved for the economically backward section. Now, this has increased the category of reservation. Thus, this increased it. So, Indra Sawhney, she filed a public interest litigation saying that these memorandums are actually unconstitutional because it has breached the limit. So, Article 16 of the Constitution was studied by the Apex Court. Apex Court said that if the government is contemplating reservation in Article 16 Clause 4 of the Indian Constitution, then 1, 2, 3 things have to be kept in mind. The reservation should not exceed 50% of the threshold, and it should be confined to initial appointments only, not for promotion. And the problem is, Parliament said, no, actually what happens, that Article 16 Clause 4A gives reservation for SCs and STs in promotions as well. So it could be applied here as well. Backward classes of citizens are not defined in the Constitution, the Apex Court has said. There is no definition of it. And there is an integral connection, the Apex Court said that as well, between caste, occupation, poverty and social backwardness. That means if any person is belonging to a certain caste, their occupation is predetermined, and because of their occupation, they may remain poor for a long period of time, and because of that, they are not socially accepted or they remain socially backward. So Apex Court did say it. That means if we are going to, changing caste is very difficult. Occupation is okay. If one changes occupation, that is not necessarily going to mean that the caste is also uplifted. Poverty and social backwardness, that may be uplifted with the help of reservation. This is what we have to think about. Backward classes can be identified in the Hindu society with reference to caste along with other criteria such as traditional occupation, poverty, place of residence, lack of education, and backwardness contemplated by Article 14 Clause 4 is mainly social and not educational. Identification of backward classes is also subject to judicial review, which is a basic structure of the Constitution. Now, another thing is that this was reiterated in the Indra Sawhney case. Whatever has been said, a 9-judge bench with 6-3 majority, 6-3. It was one of the largest constitutional benches that were formulated at that time. The Indra Sawhney ruling upheld the 27% reservation for socially and economically backward classes, and it reiterated the 50% limit that one cannot breach it unless in exceptional circumstance. Now here comes the 76th constitutional amendment in 1994. The Tamil Nadu reservation law breached the 50% limit through this particular act, and it was put in the 9th schedule of the Indian Constitution. The 9th schedule is basically a safe harbor. If any act is put here, it cannot be interpreted by the judiciary, and this is according to Article 31A of the Indian Constitution. Now this is sub judice. This matter right now is sub judice, so I may not comment on it. Now the precedents which have been set by the apex court in the past regarding other reservations in different states. In May 2021, a 5-judge constitution bench of the Supreme Court struck down the Maharashtra law and which provided reservation to the Maratha community. This is still an agitation that is going on. 68% it was going to become. Patels in Gujarat, Jats in Haryana and Kapus in Andhra Pradesh had similar, issues and demands. But of course, the apex court came into existence for that. A 5-judge bench of the Supreme Court, although upheld the 10% EWS quota. Why? Because the court said that see, this limit is for backward classes and EWS quota is a different class. It's based on finances and just finances, not on caste status. So that is why this was upheld. That is why 60% for Bihar as well. Now, I hope you understood this topic well and I hope you can write a good answer if I give you a question. Make sure you subscribe to my Telegram channel for answer writing practices as well. You will find a question there. Thank you so much for watching. Stay updated.